Wasn't he acting in a way that if Germans in the Wehrmacht and the Gestapo should have questioned an illegal order or an immoral order from their superiors, obviously in Germany.
German officers were hanged because their defense was I obeyed orders from superior officers all the way back to the commander, which was Hitler. They were hanged because they said that's no defense. Now, in the case of military officers, of which I was one, a commissioned military officer, the oath is to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, period. Nothing about obeying orders, protecting the president, or ordering the UCMJ. Your prime directive is to support and defend that Constitution. And an enlisted person, a non-commissioned officer, takes an oath that he will support and defend the Constitution as his primary directive, but he also has secondary directives in his oath to obey all the orders of officers appointed above him, and to obey the UCMJ and to obey the orders of the president. They tried him on the enlisted man's oath. They ignored the salient differences between the enlisted man's oath and the officer's oath, and I blame that on his defense counsel. His defense counsel could have mitigated the damages on the charges of an amount of time in prison by defending him by simply asking every member of that panel to look at the officer's oath and the enlisted oath and say, why is one charged with obeying orders of the officers appointed above him and the president, and the other and the commissioned officers are not? Because the founders and framers wanted the officers, the commissioned officers, to be the last line of defense for the Constitution if a president was usurping power. That's why it's that way. The commissioned officer is supposed to be able to determine the lawfulness of an order, not only judged against just criminal law, but also constitutional law. If you're issued a constitutionally illegal order, you are not supposed to follow it.
Yeah, and they never allowed him discovery.
No, they never did.
So it's basically a similar court. It's almost like
or they never allowed him witnesses to support what I just told you.
Right.
What the differences in meanings of the officer's oath and the Nuremberg defense, which is what you're talking about. And the chain of command.
And what is the difference in his not being able to bring about a defense than the kangaroo courts in the southern states back in
they denied him due process.
Exactly, back in Ku Klux Klan time in the South, where they were disallowing the rights to of African Americans. You're listening to the Les Naiman Show. We'll be back with Commander Kerchner and Mario Apuzzo for one last segment, and then I'll be back for a final one after that. So here's some. We got to pay some bills. We'll be back.
970 WGTK.
For years, the folks at Perfetto Pizzeria have preserved their Italian heritage, starting with Joseph Perfetto back in 1899, who came to this country with the Perfetto family traditions, values, and most of all, the Perfetto Italian recipes. Enjoy authentic Italian meals in a family-friendly atmosphere at Perfetto Pizzeria in Plainview Shopping Center, next to Tuesday Morning. The best ingredients made fresh every day from cherished family recipes. Your taste buds will thank you, and so will your pocketbook. Perfetto Pizzeria, 9910 Lynn Station Road.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Dorothy knows, and so do you. There's no place like your own home. A place you can feel safe and comfortable. And comfort during the heat and humidity of spring and summer months in our Ohio Valley means taking care of your home's air conditioner. Make sure you're ready for hot weather. Call Bryant Heating and Cooling now to take advantage of the air conditioner preventative maintenance check and clean for only $59.95. Let Bryant prolong the life of your equipment, eliminate untimely breakdowns, and lower your utility bills with preventative care for your air conditioner. Call Bryant Heating and Cooling today and schedule your air conditioner preventative care maintenance at 363-2451. Bryant's been family owned and operated in Louisville since 1941. Bryant Heating and Cooling. We're not comfortable until you are. Call today, 363-2451. That's 363-2451. You're in the middle of planning the perfect wedding reception or graduation party, or maybe the mother of all derby parties. Well, before you make another move, pick up the phone and call Bluegrass Rental. Bluegrass Rental is a full-service party event rental business that has everything you need. Bluegrass Rental's been the company behind Kentuckiana's best parties for 14 years. Service is their specialty, and they work hard to make sure your event is a success. From picnic to top-shelf needs, no order is too big or small for Bluegrass Rental, and Bluegrass will work with you. your caterer or event planner so that every detail is perfect. Anything you need for entertaining, from tables, chairs, linens, tableware, and glassware to tents, dance floors, concession equipment, and wedding accessories and decorations. And Bluegrass Rental has office equipment for every type of business meeting at prices even your boss will appreciate. Call 241-0222 and see for yourself. That's 241-0222. 241-0222.
It's Bill Bennett. Find out what bright and early really means on Morning in America. Weekday mornings at 6 on 970 WGTK.
I'm back. Les Naiman, along with Mario Apuzzo and Commander Charles Kerchner. We're discussing Colonel Terry Lakin, the Kangaroo Court, the court-martial. Commander Kerchner, do you think that the military has been compromised as badly as I think it may be?
In Washington, D.C., it is. The senior officers down there are very, very, very political. So they're thinking of the next star on their shoulder. That's, unfortunately, my opinion of the truth. And they are not willing to stand up for that. They know, everybody, listen to Jeffrey Cooner down there in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I know Jeff.
Everybody knows what's going on. They know the truth. They just can't handle the truth of getting it out. They don't know what to do. They back themselves in the corner. And speaking of Washington, D.C., and as a segue off of Terry Lakin, how about that Teresa, who stood up while reading the Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5, and said, "Accept Obama, accept Obama."
Yeah, Teresa Cow, yes.
Yeah. She was at Terry's trial. I know the person, and she's a very spunky person, but boy, I never thought that would happen. She just happened to be, they were admitting people into the gallery in waves. You know, you only could be in for so many minutes, and they put another group in, and she just happened to be admitted in there. This is what she told me on the phone the other day when she called me after it happened, that she just got in there like 5 minutes before they got to that section on Article 2, and she's just a coincidence that she was in there. She wanted to hear this because it was historic, and just the spirit moved her or whatever. She just couldn't stand listening to it, and she said, "Accept Obama," when it got to the end of Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5.
Well, it's
what a miracle, huh?
It's like Joe Wilson when he said, "You lie." Just like I say every time I call him liar. You want to just scream when you hear all the lies and stuff.
And all she did was react to an impulse that she felt she had to speak out, like at a town hall meeting, and now she finds out she's violated some law, disruption of Congress, and I guess it carries a 6-month jail term.
Yeah, and I bet you she'll have to serve every single day. Yeah,
I mean, what happened to freedom of speech? Well, I mean, she didn't know there was a law against speaking out.
There's only freedom of speech for the left. We have a caller from Mississippi, J.D. I want to just thank you so much for J.D.'s been on hold for an hour just to listen to my show. Tell me all about that, J.D.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good evening. Thank you for listening.
I'm a listener. I listen to Mario and Charles, and I want to thank them personally for doing everything that they did. And actually, there's really not a whole lot of words that you can say about what they did. It's too much. And there's a lot of other comments too that people can make about different issues or aspects of the issue involved, and we don't have time. But I want to ask one question. There's two Supreme Court decisions that have to be made here now recently. And I read early Tates had made a statement, and it's rather profound. What court do you want us to go to? And that was, a good question to ask. And what do you think about her chances, if any? I mean, are they just going to pass the buck again, or what are we going to do here?
Charles, Mario?
I'd like to say, first of all, I don't comment on other lawyers' cases. Because, again, they've worked hard. They've done everything possible. I don't want to try to second-guess or influence the decision anyway. So I just want to say that. But as a general statement, I'll say this, that the courts simply do not want to be involved in this question. They just don't want to be involved. And even before the Obama issue came up, there are scholars who've written on the question of what is a natural-born citizen, and they raised the question whether or not a court will ever address that issue. Okay, so this happened even before the Obama case ever came into existence. This question exists. Will a court ever ask that question? What happens if somebody puts up a candidate, and even if the candidate is an illegal candidate, and